I've been a huge fan of Jamie Page's work ever since I discovered her through Moe Shop's Love Taste back in 2018. I've listened to her work ever since. She's even my most played artist of this entire year. However, ever since Jamie's BIRDBRAIN music video dropped, alongside its beautifully animated music video by Sidopa, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right, I'm so sorry. In any case, I've been absolutely obsessed with BIRDBRAIN, along with the album that it's a part of, Constant Companions. And after seeing tons of amazing BIRDBRAIN fan art on Twitter, including this one by my wonderful friend Gian Sketch, it's super cute, I knew that I wanted to throw my hat in the ring and make something of my own. Thus, I made this Teto BIRDBRAIN model that you're seeing on screen right now. But the best part about this fully rigged and animation ready model is that it's available to download right now in the description below completely for free. But in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I made BIRDBRAIN Teto make the jump from the second dimension to the third. And I particularly want to cover how I did her eyes, her head, and her mouth because I've gotten a lot of questions about those specifically. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Quick announcement, this is not just another video on my channel. We're about to hit a huge milestone of having 2,000 students in my low poly course. Because of your amazing support, I can finally start teaching you all more advanced modeling and animation techniques in 2026. My biggest goal with this channel has always been to help as many of you as possible reach a level where you can actually live off of your art skills. So this is step 2 in this ambitious plan. Starting next year, I will officially start teaching higher polycount character modeling. I'm currently working on the most in-depth tutorial series I've ever made. A full breakdown of creating 3D stylized anime characters just like the Teto you're seeing in this video. I want this series to be just as beginner friendly as my low poly tutorials, which means it'll take a lot of work and trial and error to get everything feeling simple, clear, and super approachable. If you'd like to be one of the first people to get course access and hear about future updates, I've set up a waitlist. You'll be one of the first to know when the series goes live. The link is in the description below this video, and I highly recommend signing up if this is something you want to learn. I actually 3D modeled and rigged a lot of Teto here live on YouTube. So if you want to learn my exact process and workflows and ask me any questions you'd like, make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss out. But to start off with this process, I actually drew on top of a Kaoru Sakaki sculpt, which I'll leave a link to in the description below if I remember. Really good stuff. I did a rough sketch pass, which you can see here, followed by a more final, refined lines and refined shading pass here. Recently, the way I've been shading my turnaround drawings is by taking the base colors from my reference, then adjusting them as needed and selectively adding shading details, such as color gradations and hand-drawn shadows. I try to keep this design as faithful as possible to the original while adding shading and interior details in order to make it translate into 3D a little bit more gracefully. While 3D models that kind of emulate that anime style look can be really cool, I personally prefer my models to have more of an illustration-like quality to their shading, with lots of color gradation, hand-drawn details, and areas of ambient occlusion, all done by hand on the texture. Before I modeled anything in 3D, I took the grease pencil tool and started to outline my turnaround drawing in order to identify which parts of my model would be their own separate objects in order to break this process into chunks and simplify my workflow. Splitting your model into different parts and thinking about how its topology is going to look when you actually model it in 3D before you even start is a really great way to save time and make sure you don't get overwhelmed during the modeling process. Notice how I'm looking at other professionally made 3D models as I'm modeling here in order to get an idea of how they build out the topology on their characters. For her 3D model, I actually started by making a cylinder primitive, and then I adjusted it to be in the shape of her leg by referencing the front and side views that I'd already imported into Blender. I actually started most of Teto here with cylinders, like her arms, even her torso, though I did use simple plane primitives in order to block in and model her head, eyebrows, eyes, and front hair. I also made sure to fill in her sleeves so that you wouldn't see the inside of them, and during the modeling of the head and hands, I referenced my friend Kakaya's Lucky 8 base mesh topology a ton. It was really useful. I'll leave a link to that in the description below if you're interested. She also showed me a really cool technique where you use a screw modifier on a plane in order to make Teto style drill hair. That was really useful when I was doing that part as well. So the way I simplified modeling the head was by thinking about the topology in 3 different parts: the face, back of head, and neck. I tried to make my topology flow on her face to align with the shape of her jaw roughly, as if her her front face was a mask that she was wearing. And after modeling this section, I modeled the neck and back of the head extruding from there. I created her eyelashes and eyebrows on top of her head geometry using simple plane shapes, and for her eyes, I carefully made a loop of edges that had a nice flow to them as I was blocking in that face shape, then extruded faces outward from this edge loop in order to complete the overall geometry. After her eye was generally modeled, I selected the loop that made up the interior eye shape, then extruded inward into Teto's eye cavity in order to make the white of her eye, aka her sclera. You're gonna have to forgive my topology here though. This was my first time doing this kind of high poly model and it's really rough. I did learn a lot though. The back of her head topology ended up being more or less a chopped in half UV sphere, and the topology on her neck was just a cylinder shape. The most challenging thing to model, however, was almost certainly her hands. Trying to avoid adding triangles to her hands in bend areas was really tricky. Once again, my friend Kakaya's Lucky 8 base mesh was extremely useful topology reference. But this is not a full character modeling tutorial. We're gonna go way more in depth in my 3D anime character modeling tutorial series, which I hope you're subscribed for if you want to see more updates. For her UVs, I ended up largely using the project from view option that I normally use. That being said, I did mark seams around her face topology in order to unwrap her face UVs onto my texture map with less distortion. My process here is almost identical to the way I texture my low poly characters, where I start my texture maps by copying and pasting a bunch of different sections of my turnaround drawing directly into my face and body texture, then clean them up as needed. For her mouth though, I wanted her to have mouth shapes to be very stylized, kind of in the vein of how hyperdimension Neptunian models handle changes in mouth expression. So for Teto here, I hand drew an expression sheet of mouth shapes that you can see here, then duplicated the geometry that made up her mouth on her face. Then I made this mouth geometry its own separate object and gave that object a transparent material, with the mouth shape texture being the only opaque part of this material. I actually have a tutorial that covers how to make 2D animated facial expressions just like this that you can check out right here. After that, thanks to a great suggestion by my good friend MayaIsAnimating, I ended up binding it to a controller bone that you could rotate, move, and scale freely, allowing for much better manipulation of the mouth during lip syncing and for much greater exaggeration in your expressions. I then used the shrink wrap modifier on this mouth object so that it wrapped around the original face geometry as you moved the mouth's adjustment bone around. Then I created a bone on her rig and set up my mouth material so that it snapped between UV coordinates on my texture depending on a translation value on her rig's mouth controller. In other words, if you move this bone in pose mode on the final model, her mouth expressions adjust accordingly, which lets you animate fast. And you can do this on top of adjusting her bone's rotation, location, and scale values using that adjustment bone. I made a whole video on how I rigged this model that you can check out right here. But in short, after verifying that my model is ready to rig by cleaning up its normals, ensuring that there are no n-gons, and applying location, rotation, and scale on all of my geometry, only then do I spawn in my Rigify human meta rig, then adjust it and scale it in order to better line up with my Teto here. After that, I generate her Rigify rig controls and make absolutely sure there's no issues with the rotation of her fingers, the position of her neck and head, or in the folding of her elbow plus knee when I move them in IK. Then I apply automatic weights on the generated Rigify rig to all of her meshes after I delete the Rigify rig's face bones, as I don't want those face bones on a model this stylized personally. This gets us good enough results but requires a lot of manual vertex group cleanup to fix weight painting problems, particularly in her head and hair. After manually cleaning up my weights in weight paint mode using the gradient tool, brush tool, and blur weight paint mode tools, I then move on to creating my own bones. These new bones are for areas of my model I want more fine-grained control over while animating, such as her hair strands and the flap on her shirt. After making new bone collections for these bones, then weight painting and parenting these bones to various parts of my character, I then create a few shape keys on her head in object mode and adjust the eyes geometry manually in edit mode in order to create new expressions on her eyes like her blink, happy, and smug expressions that you can see here. Her irises are made up of simple planes, so adding bones that were children of her head bone, then weighting them 100% to an iris.L and iris.R bone was super easy. I actually cover how to do exactly that and create your own fully animatable face shapes and eye bones in this tutorial right here, so go check that out if you want a full breakdown on how to model and rig eyes just like this. Make sure to go support Jamie and stream her music, and if you're watching this, Jamie, thank you for all the amazing music this year. This year was very challenging for me, yet I always had so much of your music to lean on that inspired me so much and really helped me process. Seriously, thank you so much. But that about wraps it up. Here's how the final Teto model turns out. thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out my low poly character modeling course, which I'm going to link in the description below, if you want to get a grasp of the fundamentals in a very beginner-friendly, easy-to-digest, structured format. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.